Now let's talk about prioritizing information. There are basically 4 areas that I look at information. So once you've asked the questions and drawn out all the source material, then this is how I like to prioritize it. First is mission critical. And usually mission critical information is what are the 6 to 10 highest level concepts that seem to have the most notes related to them and are absolutely required to know about. And this is really independent of anything price-wise past $99. There is no coincidence that most of my products above $99 have at least 6 modules. Very often 8, sometimes 10, rarely more than 10. Because in anything that you need to know and learn and do that is not a complete, absolute, total, deep dive encyclopedia type of approach, 10 at most usually, maybe 11 or 12. 6, down to 6 if you wish to go lower. Don't try to force a number, just see what naturally occurs. These are the mission critical things. These 6 to 10 elements, give or take a few, that seem to have the most effect, the most types of themes or thematically showing up over and over again with your raw material. This is true, by the way, even if you're not interviewing somebody, if you're just planning higher ticket products yourself. And we'll talk more about that in later modules, right? Mission critical stuff absolutely gets created and built. The whole content gets built around, and the whole product gets built around mission critical stuff. That's that type of information. So the first passer that I get when I'm looking through all the raw materials that I've sussed out or somehow or other have acquired for a major product, such as a publisher publishing type of product, it's a big product usually, unless you're just starting. But once I got that raw material coming out, I say these are the most mission critical things absolutely are required to be in the product. And it's usually 6 to 10. Then the second thing is highly important pieces of information or concepts. These are usually 10 to 15 within each module or each mission critical thing that have the most impact on those things. So, for example, let's say there was a module on changing your oil in your car. I don't even know why I picked that one. Then we basically have 10 to 15 things related to that in our notes that we could probably draw on and put together and say these are important concepts that should be covered throughout the course or within this module specifically, right? So if you think about it, if you had 10 modules and each of them had about 15 pieces, that's 150 bits of information. One module with 10, one module with 15 bits, right? So 2 modules would equal 30 bits. 3 would equal 45. So generally, you're going to fit in 150 pieces of information, or 100, or somewhere around there, structured through first mission critical, the lens of mission critical, all the highly important augmentable things. That's second. What's third? Third is what I call nice but not needed. There's going to be material that you have sussed out that would be helpful and advantageous to the customer, but could slow down, delay, and then maybe suspend indefinitely the product from ever being released. So we usually don't want to do that in the first version of the product. Now, by the way, I love the term shipping out the product. We got to make it shippable is a word that you'll hear me often use inside of high-level meetings. We're talking about product creation. What's it going to take to make this shippable? Now, here's the issue. If you don't admit up front that it's okay to leave stuff out that you know would be valuable if you included it in the product, then the chances of you ending up leaving it out are slim to none. And the problem with that is if you don't leave it out, you'll never get the product done. You can't include everything. There's not a single product that exists out there that is totally and completely thorough. So there are concessions that need to be made. Now, notice the implication here is I said ship out version 1 of the product. The implication here is that there's going to be more versions potentially in the future if it calls for it. And if we keep a punch list of things that didn't make it into version 1 but can consider being made in subsequent versions, awesome. Now you'll actually feel really good about knowing that you didn't cut them out indefinitely. They're just not going to be included in the final cut for this one. That will make you more productive and easier to get this stuff done. And then lastly, there is a section of information called maybe one day. So something amazing, grandiose, something fantastic if it were being able to be pulled off but would take a lot of effort and time. We don't want to do that or even consider doing that. We want to isolate it and acknowledge that that exists, but we don't even want to consider doing that until after the product is out, and lastly, it's proven to be a hit. Because then you could potentially justify all the additional effort needed to implement or put that thing in the product. But you can't justify that up front because we don't know how well the product's going to sell. Nobody, by the way, knows how well a product's going to sell until after it hits the marketplace and people react. And by the way, that will help you further augment the product later on with types of information to put on it based on audiences' reactions. And that's true with any type of product you create. So there you go. There's a priority of information. So once you pull out all the information, especially when you're working with somebody else, even when you're working with yourself, but especially when you're working with somebody else, mission critical, that's going to be in the product no matter what. Highly important, absolutely also going to be in the product. Nice but not needed. Hey, if you get ahead of schedule creating this product and then you want to circle back and sneak it in before you launch it, great. As long as it doesn't miss the deadline, right? And then maybe one day this is stuff, only if this product is a hit, we'll come back and revisit it. Doesn't guarantee we'll put it in there, but we will consider it. So there you go. This is how we prioritize information.